Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to Moxie Monday. I hope you all had a wonderful and blessed weekend, had a great holiday weekend, and had some time to recoup and have some good memories. I'm going to go ahead and start our session for today. If someone can jump in the chat just to confirm that you can actually hear me and see my screen, which should be previewing a page from the Coldwell Banker website on MoveMeter. Yes, okay, perfect. Thanks, guys. All right, well, so I'm happy to share this with you today because months ago, when we saw that there was a tool called the Move Meter from Coldwell Banker, I wanted to make sure that you guys can get it accessible on your websites. However, there wasn't like a tool or a widget or a way to actually build it into your site. I kind of gave you a workaround to get it on your site, but it really did at that time redirect you back to Coldwell Banker, back to this page on coldwellbanker.com. That's not the end result of what we wanted, but it was just a way to get it to happen in the meantime. Ultimately, when you filtered it before, it took you to the Coldwell Banker site like this does, which is not really what we want. I want them to stay, whoever's on your site, to stay on your site. So now the great news is now that we've rolled over to the new platform we're on through Moxi from the Anywhere platform, we now have the option to actually take the Move Meter and put it inside of your website so that when I'm on your site and I click on it, it keeps me in your website. That is huge because the more times people go to your website, it increases the value of your website in the eyes of a search engine. So that's Bing, Google, Yahoo, etc. And then the longer people stay on your website. So if I were to go to your website and I were to click on the Move Meter, it would take me to a different page, which is going to then increase your value by, let's call it 2 points. So every time someone's on your page, it gives you a point. Every time someone clicks to a different page within your site, it gives you a point. So ultimately what happens is it's an algorithm, and the search engines value what your, they state what your value is based on how many hits or how many people have gone to your website. So the concept here is we want to use your website, promote your website, and get as many people to go to your website and click as many pages as we want. Because what it does is it tells Google and Bing that your page is more valuable because people are accessing it. Then what happens is you're closer up to the top on page 1 of Google when people start to search for you or start to search for a realtor in the area. So here's the Move Meter, okay? This is what I'm going to show you how to get into your websites today that does not make it redirect to Coldwell Banker. But here, this is Coldwell Banker just to give you a preview. So now let's consider a particular person that is looking around for different options of where to move. Maybe it's across the country, but maybe it's just city to city, and it just helps them to analyze it. So if you come in here and look at the city area here, you can actually type in 1 zip code. So this is ultimately what they would be doing. So let's do 44136 versus, let's do 4426, Medina. Oops, I grab this one over here. Got to wait for a second. I'm a little too quick for you today. Sorry, guys. So ultimately, let's say I'm considering moving. I can actually look at the value of property from Strongsville versus Medina very quickly by clicking on the calculate button. I'm not obligated to give anybody my information, so I'm not feeling stressed out at all by this at all. So as you guys can see in here, it says a move from Strongsville is only 14.9 miles. On paper, this move could be on par with your current location. So let's go ahead and scroll down. So this is just giving you the data, some of the analytics, some of the things to think about, which is a very cool option because you're not going to see this on other brokerages' websites. So it's going to give you an overview of affordability versus quality of life versus job market versus living affordability per city. So if you can look here, it's giving it a score. And if you want details for how that score is obtained, you can click on that right there. You can also click the report, but if I scroll down here, it's going to give me the actual report itself. So notice how here's Strongsville, here's Medina. Now I'm very quickly able to analyze and in a visual quick way, the home price, the average taxes, appreciation from city to city. And as you can see, it does vary. So this is not only just important for if you're going city to city local, but it's a huge, huge benefit when you're going from 2 cities that aren't near each other, because chances are they're probably very different in the data that comes back, right? So you're just going to continue to scroll down. If you can see here, there's a little guideline of where it's going to take you. But you're looking at the education. I mean, the education to air quality. I mean, the data that's here is just a lot. So if you can just run down here, it's very easy for the recipient. They're just going to be able to see the information, get that information. And because this is on the Coldwell Banker site, it says find an agent, but that's not going to happen with you. Yours is going to keep them on your site so that when they start looking for a property, it's going to keep them in your website. So again, they're not only going to keep you as the resource, it's going to increase your value. So that's what we want to show you today. I'm going to show you how to get this bad boy right inside your website. So let's go ahead and go over to where we would access Moxi. First thing you guys would do now that we're on the new platform is you sign into Desk. So it's mycbdesk.com, or you can access it through schmidtresources.com. Either way, however it takes you to get to this point, clicking on the Moxi work square is now going to take you into Moxi. When you're in Moxi, the way we're going to get to your website area is to come to the top navigation panel and click My Website. When you do that, it's going to load an admin page that looks like this, okay? So it's called your website admin tool. This is where we go to edit or add or create on the back end for your website. Now there's 3 areas I'm going to have you guys, look at while we're in here. The first one is at the very top on the left side. Kind of hard to see right now when it's so tiny, but let me scroll out just a little bit here. In the top left, it says Visit Site. When you click on that, it's going to open up a new URL browser at the top tab, and it's going to give you a preview of your website currently. So right now, when you click on this, in this particular account that I'm in, this is the website. The reason I do this first is because when I do go in and make changes, I'm able to come and look at that and see those changes right away on my website as I create and make them, okay? So now that's a separate tab that was just opened because, again, to remind you, I clicked Visit Website in the top left-hand panel of my agent website tool, okay? And I got to this location by being in Moxi and clicking on My Website. Now, the other place I'm going to show you that's important and relevant to today is right here on the left side panel, and it says Site Pages. Site Pages is actually where all of your website pages live. This is where they are. So as an example, you can see that this is the home page, and there's a properties page. And then if you notice, there's all these little indented pages here. What that means is if it's against the left-hand side, it's a main page on your website. If it's indented in underneath a topic, then those are pages that are built within. Now, let me give you a visual of what that means. If I'm looking at my website here, notice it says home and properties, and underneath that it says property search. Right here, if I'm on the website itself, here is my home button. See how that's a prominent main button? But if I then come under properties, which is what the other one we looked at, see how I have some sub pages that are in here? So that's all that means. If you keep it to the left, anything that's to the left is going to be a main page like properties right here. And then anything that's indented underneath it, like property search and active listings, that's actually going to be what's in the menu that pops down, okay? So that's what that is. This is just a very quick run through just because I want you guys to see how to move pages around before we add one in. Now, if I wanted property search to be a page all by itself, all I do is I click on it and I pull it over to the left. And then when I do that, I'm not going to do it now, but if I were to do that, and then I scroll to the bottom of the page, and then I clicked the blue publish button, then immediately what would happen is this button would now be a main page button instead of a subcategory. So this is the explanation. That's why I explained it, because if you haven't seen this before, this can just look like a bunch of words and make you want to jump right off this page, but it's not difficult to work with. It's pretty simplistic once you understand the layout. Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to do 2 things today. First, I'm going to show you how to create a main page that says move meter. So as an example, this is a main page, properties is a main page, about Coldwell Banker is a main page. I'm going to create a tab up here that says move meter so that when you click on it, it's an actual page built into your website. Okay, that's option 1, and that's going to be using templates. Option 2 is if you have an existing page that you've already created, like this is a custom page that was created. Maybe I don't want, maybe what I want, you see how there's different areas down here? Maybe I want to take the move meter itself and just put it down here inside of an existing page that I have. And then when I click on it, then take me into that main page. So option 1 is just creating a main page by itself. So it's a standalone. Option 2 is then creating, then taking the move meter module and putting it on a different page so that it's clickable very easily to go into that move meter. So let's start with option 1. Very quick, to be honest with you. I'm in my admin tool. And then at the top of my admin tool, there are 2 different ways I can create a custom or a new page. One, at the top left, if I click the plus sign next to visit site, I can choose the word page right here, or I can choose add new right here. Either way, they do the same thing. I'm going to choose page. I'm going to make sure it shows up and stays as a custom page. Hit submit. Now, what I'm going to do here very quickly is I'm actually going to type in the word move meter. Now, this is the label. This is the tab name that will show up on the website. So I'm going to type in move meter here. And because I want this to stay, I'm going to go ahead and hit save draft. Now, keep in mind, I'm going to move through this pretty quickly because this is not a long training today, but I am going to make sure that you guys understand there is a step-by-step PDF that we will be putting into Schmidt Resources today, walking you through every single thing I'm showing you today, not only by text, but also in screenshots. When we're done with this, I'm actually going to give you a preview of what that looks like. So now I'm in here, and what we're going to do is we're actually going to skip down to the grayed out box here that when I hover over it, it says builder. That's what I'm going to click because that's going to take me into our website builder. That's where all of our tools and our widgets and our templates are ready to go for you just to click and use. Now, as you notice here on the left is my blank website page. So nothing's on it yet. What I have over here is this box that's popped up that gives me all the options I can use. Modules is what you are like tools or they're add-ons. Okay, I'll give you a couple words that mean the same thing. Module means tool, means admin, means widget. All those things are the same thing. Just as you notice here, as an example, if you wanted to put a photo on that page, you would just hover over photo and carry it over and drop it. So it's kind of like your extras. Rows are the number of rows that you can pull in and use in your website. Templates is where we're starting at. These are the pre-created templates that if I clicked on them, it will already build it into your website, and then you can just edit it or leave it alone and you're done. Now, I want to show you something really quick before we go into the templates. What if that box doesn't load up and this is what your page looks like? The way that we get into templates and widgets or tools is always by clicking the blue plus button in the top right-hand corner. So if you see that, I go ahead and click on that, see how that expands? That's going to give me the options for those of you who don't have it pop up automatically. Now, here's the benefit with are now connecting with the brand, or the brand now being on the same platform we've been. We get brand created tools and content. So here's where that comes into play. At the very top, so the first option, since we're creating a template, a custom page from a template, we're going to make sure that we click templates at the top, and underneath group, I'm going to click on it and I'm going to hover down and I'm going to choose brand templates. This is not something you saw before, but it's something we have now. So we talked about that the beefed up content. This is what we're talking about. So now these are the brand created templates. For the first option, when you're creating a custom page, I'm just going to scroll down until I find the 3 different options for the move meter. So as you can see here, this one right here is template 1, template 2, and template 3. They are named move meter. So you just very quickly say, look to see which one's the most visually appealing to you. You're going to click on it, and now it's going to start to build it in the left-hand side. Okay, so you're done. That page is ready to go, except for one thing. If you notice in here, it says insert contact form. That's because we want to have it have that accessibility in your site. So this is very easy. Okay, so far all I've done is I've clicked on the plus sign, I clicked on templates, and then I chose the option under group brand templates. Then I just chose the template that I wanted from the left-hand side. Now, the way that you actually get your contact form in here is going to be a module. So anything that's an add-on is going to be considered a module or a tool or a widget. Don't ask me why there's so many words for the same thing, but they're all the same thing. So I'm going to click on modules this time because I'm not pulling in the whole page. I'm just pulling in a piece from my options here. Okay, see how it says insert contact form? If I come in here and then I go into widgets, so again, we're going to click modules and widgets. Remind you that you're going to have all this in a typed out form, so don't feel like you have to take notes. You're just going to watch. Right here, it says contact me module. I'm just going to grab that and I'm going to drag it in. See how I dragged it and I can move it around my page. Wherever that blue line shows up is where it's going to land. Now I'm going to go ahead and hit save when that box pops up. And you're going to see, do you see how instantaneously it loaded that contact me page? Guys, this is that lead generation that's very important to you because people are hopefully and with intent going to your website before they even meet you. So they want to be, we want them to be enjoying the move meter and we want it to entice them to work with you. Therefore, I want this here so that they can then fill out your information, which will then notify you, but it will also create them as a contact in your Moxi Engage CRM, your client relationship management tool. So that's the beauty of that. Now, the last thing you have to do in the last step for this is we want to get rid of this box here because it's just a reminder for you to do this. So to do that, if you notice when I hover over anything in the website builder here, cancel that. It does allow you to have a box pop up on the left, and these are your options within that box. So all I'm going to do is click the X to remove it, and now it's gone. So now I have a page that's built, and watch, don't worry that the move meter is not showing up here. It will when you publish it. Now we're done. I'm going to go ahead and hit done. I'm going to hit publish, give that just a second. Now I'm going to go back to the website that I have in a different URL. So remember I opened up a preview page to show the website. Take your eyes right here. See how you don't see move meter? When I refresh my page so that it reloads and shows the new updates, instantaneously, I now have a move meter as an existent page on my website to where when I click it, ta-da, magic, right? Couple of clicks, you've got it built right in. And now keep in mind, this is one of those resources that now when I'm on your site, I'm finding value from you. So it's giving me a higher user experience and thus therefore allowing more people to be referred to you from that person because of their experience. And now every time I click on something in your website, so for example, I went to page 1, it increased your value. And then I go to the move meter, increased your value by 2. Then I'm coming in here and I'm clicking. So the more that I get tangled into your website, the higher Google, Bing, and Yahoo are rating it based off the algorithm, and the higher you get to become in searches when people go to search for realtors or brokerages or whatever. So that's the beauty of it in addition. So as you can see here, that's the page. That's the extent of doing the first option. So if this is what you want, you're done. You don't have to do anything further. You're ready to go. You can go about your day. However, if you want it to be, if you want it on your website, if you already have an existing page you've created and you want to add the move meter to the existing page itself, like let's say you already have a custom home page, you just want to add the move meter to that because you took that time to build it, this is for you. This is that next step. Okay, so what's going to happen is we're going to add the move meter onto an existing page, but when we click on it, we want it to come back to this page so they can use this page. So for those of you who want to actually add the move meter on, let's say, a home page or a different page that already exists, your first step is to create this template page the way I just showed you. Your second step is to come to the very top of the browser, and you're going to click on this until it gets highlighted, and then you're going to come in here and copy it. You're going to do it now because when we get to another step in just a minute, you're going to be pasting this and you don't have to go back and forth. If you forget this step, it's okay. Just leave this up so that you don't have to worry about digging to get to it again, okay? So what we're going to do, we're going back into the admin tool. Okay, so I'm going to go back into the admin tool. And for those of you who don't know, when you're in a website preview page, it's always in the top left. So for example, I was in the page I just built. If I look in the top left, it says admin home, and it's going to take me back to this website builder tool. We're going to do just like we did before and go to site pages. Okay, so technically, I know you don't have to, you can just go to the new part, but I like you to get used to being here and seeing this. So that's kind of why I have you come here first. You can go ahead and click on the new button at the top and click page, or click add new, just like I told you. This time we're also saying custom page. But this time we're not really actually doing a full page. we're just going to be, I'm showing you how to get the tool, the widget tool itself. So I do not need to name anything this time, okay? So the second time I'm not naming anything and I'm going straight into the builder. And please understand when you do this like twice, you'll get it pretty quick. I had to do it like twice too, just to visualize the steps that I was reading. So now again, it's pulled this open for us and we're going to go into templates to start. Okay, so we're first starting in the word templates and then we're going back to brand templates just like we did. Now, here's the key here. We're not going to actually pull a whole page of templates, a finished template. There's one at the top right here that says module library. Let me zoom this bad boy in really good here. This top one that says module library in the top left, this is how Coldwell Banker, the brand, is giving us all of the tools that we can pull out separately. So it's one page, you'll see me load it, and all of the cool new tools that they're offering us are in this one page. I'm going to show you how within like 2 quick clicks, you're going to save that tool so that you can go in and use it later. So this is just a library, a collection of the tools, okay? It's just the way that they're giving it to you. So when I click on module library, it's going to load it over here in the left. Now, don't worry about this page showing up on your website because this page itself is not going to show up, and I'll show you why. But essentially, this is how, again, they can just give you the tools. So now look at all the good stuff here. We are talking about Move Meter today, but I'm technically teaching you how to get all of this stuff in your site because it's the same way. So if you wanted to have the seller's assurance program show up on one of your pages, it also has the tools for buyer modules. So what that means is, like, for example, this section right here, if you wanted this particular section to show up on your website, so it's all clickable, you are able to do that. So that's all that we're looking at here. If you would like to add seller modules, you can. Spotlights into the marketing, exclusive look, like you can literally pull this off of here and put it right into one of your website pages. CB estimate, guys, that's been pretty big lately. People have been asking for it. It's getting a lot of hits on websites. So if you wanted to just take this section of it, you can actually put that on your website as well. So that's what this is. So right now I'm just going to basically scroll down until I see the Move Meter, since that's just the focus of today. And here we go. So now there are 3 options. Okay. So imagine that you've already created like a custom home page or a custom page. This is saying option 1 is right here at the top. If you literally just want to put this chunk right here in your website, you can do that. Option 2 looks like this, and option 3 looks like that. Visually, I like option 1, so watch how quick this is, okay? All I'm going to do, see how these are both in the same big dark box here, the same box? Watch my cursor. When I go into it, do you see how this box pops up where there's a wrench and an X and some boxes? Okay. Hovering over the box is going to show those tool options. Okay. So if I chose that I wanted this whole section just to show up in my site on a page I already created, I'm going to click on the wrench. So I'm not clicking directly on this and I'm not clicking on that. See how that also has a box? I want the whole thing. So I'm going to hover over here, click on the wrench, and watch how fast this is. I'm just going to come to the bottom and say save as. We're almost done, literally. I'm going to save as Move Meter so I know what tool it is. So as an example, if you do the same thing up above with the estimate, you would just type in the word estimate. So this is how it knows which section they are. I'm going to hit save. Now I'm totally done in here. That was, you just watched me how to take the tool and pull it out and put it into a section where you can now use it. We're not going to keep this page, so you're going to click done at the top. And instead of publishing it, we're going to discard it because we don't need this page. It was just a temporary thing that we needed to pull out our tool with. I'm going to go back to the admin home because this is just the staple here. I want you guys to see this is the process. We're going to go back to site pages like I've shown you a couple of times already. Okay. Now at this point, you already have a page that you've created or you want to add it to a page you've created. So all you would do is just find that page and then you would click on the edit right under it. So let's go a little bit bigger here. When you're in your pages, if you've created it, notice how it says custom page. That means I created the custom page. For me now, if I wanted to add that, just that Move Meter tool onto that page I already created, I'm going to click edit. And then it's going to take me back in, same view I've always seen. I'm going to say launch builder, going back in, and then it's going to load the page that I created previously on a different day or whatnot. So ultimately, this particular example, I'm showing you how to add the tool, that move meter tool on the home page I already created. So if we look, let's go back to your web. So this is the preview of the website. Okay, I went to a new tab. This is the website itself. This is what it currently looks like. So if I said, okay, I created this homepage real quick using a template, but the move meter is not on here and I would like it to be, that's what I'm going to do right now. So in the web builder, it's hard to differentiate between the two, but this is actually the web builder. You know that because it's actually saying you're editing the page in the top left. When you're in the builder and you hover over something, you're going to see the boxes that pop up. Now, what we're going to do is the same thing we've always done. I like that things are repetitive here because it makes them easier to remember. So my page is built here, but if I go to the top on the right, click this plus sign, this is where all my extra stuff is, okay? So I know that we pulled the module or the tool out, but what we're going to do this time, instead of going to template or module, you're going to click on row, and then you're going to choose saved rows, because what it was, they gave you the module or tool, but they gave it to you in an entire row. Does that make sense? Since we didn't pick just one part of the move meter, there was multiple parts. We chose the entire row to save. That's why we're coming in under rows. If you forget that part and come into modules, you're going to be looking for it and not see it. So that's the key, is we're going to then go into rows, because what we did is we saved the module or the tool as a row. So now if I go into saved, not saved columns, I'm going to go into saved rows. Look at how many times I did it just to practice it. Each one of these is the same thing. This is the move meter. So now watch what happens when I take it and I hover over it and I drag it down. Let me move my screen here. And then I drop it. Notice how where it shows up blue is where it would show up. If I drop it, it's now going to take that whole row, that tool that I pulled out, right? So individually, these are separate, but I saved the whole row. So now that whole row shows up for me, again, literally in seconds. If for some reason I need to make spaces in between the top and the bottom because the layout doesn't work very well, same concept. I just click on the plus sign, I go into the rows. Sorry about that. Too quick for you today. And then I can add in an additional row. So the reason I'm telling you that is, let's say you had something on your page, and then when you publish it, the move meter looks like it's kind of squishing together with something else. If you add an additional row, it's just going to add that space in there to keep the two clean. So you're done at this point. So it's already in here. The last thing you're going to do is right here. We need to make this button clickable. So the concept here is, when I come to your website as a consumer or potential client, I'm going to come here and I'm going to click on the word explore, and then it's going to take me to your actual move meter page, right? So this is kind of like a shortcut, highlighting it on your main page, but yet it's going to take me into the move meter, which, by the way, is secret SEO trickery, because not only am I getting you to come to page one, I'm now getting you to come to page two. See how we just increased your value 2 times with one option? So now all I'm going to do is I'm going to click or hover over explore. Same thing like everything else. To make a change, I'm going to click on the wrench. This time, the only thing I have to do is down here where it says link, I'm just going to remove the one that says Coldwell Banker, and now I'm pasting the one that I highlighted before. So when I created my custom page and I highlighted it, so for example, when I created this page, I highlighted the top browser that showed up there, and that's all I'm doing. I'm pasting it in here, taking out that it's a new window because I want it to stay in the same place. And now I'm going to hit save. Now it's linked. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to click done and publish. Let's give that a second to refresh. Then I'm going to go to my actual other tab here. It's taking a minute. Bear with me. It usually doesn't take this long, so hopefully my internet's okay. But ultimately, that's all that we're doing. Once it's completely done, good Lord, it's taken a while. Might have to try that again. We would just go into our actual website and refresh it really quick. Doesn't look like it's going through, but I'm just going to check it. Yeah, that's what I figured. There was an error at the moment. Okay. So let's go ahead, come back in here. I got to wait for this to finish. It's in the middle of publishing changes, but I can see there's an issue. All that we would do when it's done publishing is you then go back to your main website, refresh it, and then you'll see, not only will you see it on the homepage, you're going to actually see it be clickable. And my apologies, because this is literally the time I need to show you what it's going to do. And it's literally frozen right now. But you get the concept. While we're waiting for that to finish refreshing, I'm going to use my time here efficiently. I'm going to share. Oh, we're done. Oh no, that was trickery right there. It's still going. I'm going to share my screen in a different way so that you can see in here. My apologies that the internet just timed out here. I'll refresh that in a second. I'm doing a whole screen for you now, so you should be able to see both sides of my screen. What I'm showing you here is I want you to see that the PDF that you're going to be receiving is going to look like this. So let's go a little bit bigger here. So if you can notice in here, it's going to be step-by-step instructions. So you're going to physically see in written text and then also graphics, each step of the process away. So we got knocked out here. Let's go back in and try this again, just while I have you. If you have any questions, go ahead and jump and put them in the chat box. You gotta love technology, guys. Sounds fun. Right when I wanted to show you how quick and easy it was, the internet's not working. It might even be Moxi at the moment based off those two different pages here. But hopefully this can come up, but I assure you it works. I've already done it like 12 times. And again, while we're waiting for that, let me just give you a quick little preview of what you're going to see when we put this on here. So this right here, we start from the beginning. It's going to take you step by step. So the very first set of instructions is how to do the template. So remember how I showed you how you can go in and create a whole custom page very quickly by a template? This is those instructions for that. And then the next one is just showing you how to pull that tool out of the module library and then be able to put it into your website. So that's all these instructions are here. So you're going to see that. And again, it applies to everything. So remember how we have exclusive look and all these different great new tools. It's the same concept and the same options for each of these. If you're a person that has a custom site and you like to embed things, this is going to teach you how to do it by HTML. For those of you who don't know what that means, don't worry about it. It doesn't apply. You can just do one of the simplistic ways at the very top. So, all right, well, my apologies. We look like we have timed out with Moxi here. But go ahead and give that a trial today. It does work. I've done it many, many times, inclusive of today. I did it like 2 or 3 times today. So it will work for you. I'm going to jump into the chat box. Let's answer some questions while we can. If there are some, quite a bit of questions or statements in here. Good to go. Yep, in here and see. It says, can you use any city or state or just within the MLS? So that is a good question. Your particular Moxi account is connected to a specific MLS. Let's try this out live. Who was this? Okay, Portage Lakes. Oh, you're going to be in mine. Can somebody from Florida or Michigan jump in the chat box and give me 2 different zip codes? Because you're not going to be in my MLS, and I want to see if it lets me access it. Because there are some data pools that will pull in info, but sometimes it won't. So, all right, Lisa. Wait, I see a Sarah and a Lisa, but are those both in the same place? I need 2 cities that are in the same. Okay, sorry, perfect. All right, I got a couple in here. Let me jump in. Let's go to, let's see if it happened to upload really quick. I'd really like to show you on the site that I just did it. I don't want to really show you on the Coldwell Banker site because that's not feasible because Coldwell Banker is going to be everywhere. So that doesn't answer my question efficiently. And of course, my site is rolling in here very quickly. While we're waiting on that, Sharon, you said, will you paste later today include this last piece? Can you clarify that question a little bit further? Are you asking if the PDF is going to be posted? That PDF is going to go in the Moxi Square and Schmidt resources, if that's kind of what you're asking for that. Oh, you already answered it. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Guys, our host is actually currently not functioning at the moment. So in the moment, I'm just going to try it just because we're here. I'm just going to try it on the Coldwell Banker site, but I will need to do a quick little test outside of this when our page loads up. So I'm just going to grab 2 zips from what I saw in here. Okay, so that looks like, is that supposed to be right? 53051 and 32937 I was given. Okay, those are, yeah, let's try that. calculate. This should work. So here's the interesting thing. So your Moxi, this is why I'm testing this. Your Moxi is technically connected to the MLS as far as what it's going to pull in listing wise. So on your site, it's going to pull in your listings for your area. It's not going to like pull in Michigan or Florida if you're in Ohio. However, the concept of the move meter is to be able to assess one location to the next, and that could be country, other side of the country to the other. So having it show up and working out of the zip codes would make sense as to the product. So this obviously works as far as the Coldwell Banker brand. We will follow up with you, you guys, since it's just not, it's not being our best friend right now and not letting me do this. We'll have to double check on our own pages. But in the meantime, go ahead and access the PDF. Give us a little bit of time. I just got to connect with JD or Carrie so we can get the PDF in the Moxi Square. So maybe by this afternoon at some point or later on today, we'll have not only the PDF in there, but we'll also take this recording and then put it into our Schmidt video classroom so that we can have this something easily accessible for you later, because I know it's easy, but when you just watch me click here and click there and click here and click there, it's like, what? And you have to kind of go back and remind yourself what I said. So, okay, that's as far as we're going to get today based off our internet purposes. Do we have any other questions in chat that you guys might have for me while you have me on? And we'll give that a second. So keep in mind, I am Elizabeth Glass. If you need to reach me at any time, I'm elizabeth.glass@cvschmidtohio.com. We also have an amazing training team, so you can reach out to Carrie or JD or anyone on our training team. Please also make sure you're using your ASC and RSC in your local area. All of these things that we worked collaboratively together to make sure we can understand. So just you have the resources, just put them to use by asking for them. All right, no questions are coming in. Thank you guys so much. Go ahead now, and maybe in like 15 minutes, hopefully the server will be back up in a little better standing. Go ahead and try this now, today or tomorrow, so while it's fresh. And that way, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out and ask any of us. On that note, thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you have a wonderful, blessed rest of your week and a lot of good things happens in your business. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful day. Bye.